How's everyone doing? So, Strength Chat episode 41. You might remember this chap when I spoke to him before. He put a big claim out there, and he was a man of his word. Today, I am joined by the world squat record holder, Josh Greenfield. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm alright, man. Feel relieved, let's say, from the last one. Completely different outlook this time.
So, probably the first question then. How does it feel to be a world record holder?
I don't know, man. It's hard to kind of put into words because, like, so much work went on for that over the last 3 years. Like, that was my goal from the start. And it actually feels a little bit different to what I thought it was going to be, because that was my goal from the start. And now I've done it. I'm kind of like, where do I go now? Like, I have to kind of rewrite those rules and rewrite those goals and kind of get back out there and do my thing again and go back at it.
Did you have a little bit of a chance to celebrate afterwards, or when did it start sinking in?
So it kind of, especially just when I'd squatted it, like I didn't know what to do. Like on the platform, they tried to keep me out there and like celebrate it, and I was like, ah. And then we went back, and I got really emotional. I got really upset and stuff because I was like, there was so much on the line there, and I'd said so much about it, and that I wanted to do it, and I know, I just sat in the back, had like a little cry. I know, supposed to be a big hairy man, headbutt bars and stuff. But I sat in the back, had a little cry. I was congratulated by loads of people, which was really, really cool. I had some really close people to me there, which was an absolute bonus that I could share that moment with them. Yeah. But yeah, it feels weird, man. It feels really weird. I don't even. It's crazy.
I suppose if not wrong with having a little bit of a cry. It just goes to show how much that meant to you. I saw you put an Instagram story on the other day, just sort of about just because you're at a high level doesn't mean it means any less to you, or you don't have to walk out and think that you're better than anyone. Obviously, you're working for it.
Yeah, that's it. It's like that came off just the back of like a little comment that somebody made. It wasn't a bad comment in the gym. But I always as well, I don't know, for some reason why, I genuinely get quite a lot of messages like saying like, people saying that I'm a big inspiration to them. Me personally, I still don't get that. And it just kind of doesn't sink in. But then people like, oh, you're so normal. Like, why would I be different just because, I don't know, I've been at this game a little bit longer than you, and I'm still new to this sport. Do you know what I mean? Just because I've progressed a little bit quicker than a couple of other people doesn't give me the right to be somebody who I'm not. Do you know what I mean? And like, I was going to post on my story the other day. A guy, I'll mention his name because he knows that he would be happy that I mentioned. A guy called Harry Regan. You'll probably see him on Instagram and stuff. Absolute legend of a guy. He sent me this big long message. Man, if you could read it, it's hilarious. And he was just like saying the same thing, like saying that like I was different to the other high level lifters, and I'm like, but it shouldn't be like that. These people, like, just be yourself. Like, there's no reason to be any different just because. I know I've squatted a world record and you haven't. Like, do you know what I mean? That doesn't make me any. It just, I've had an opportunity to do that, and I've now kind of set that as a goal, and I've gone after it. And just like you'll set goals and you'll go after yours, and it's a little bit different. So it doesn't make me. I know it's just weird. I don't get the concept of people being like that. And that literally came off a tiny comment in the gym.
Yeah. I think people have all started from the same point, wanting just to be like, let's get stronger. And a prime example is when you were first on the chat, it was like, let's set something up. It wasn't, oh no, speak to my agents, we'll sort something out.
Contact my PA. They might be able to out of a time slot in my busy schedule.
So in the first chat, obviously the goal was leading up to the British, and obviously you mentioned there that this has been a goal for 3 years. Obviously chatting for you and obviously seeing your lifts on Instagram and your progress, we only see sort of a small snippet of what goes in the background. And like you say, obviously you have those 3 years. built up to the world record squat, 336 kilos, massive amount of weight. What sort of where did that journey start on there? How did it all start? And, what happened across those 3 years to that 2 minutes on the platform?
Yeah, man, that's it. It's like, so my journey, I'm not going to say it's any different to anybody else's, but I can imagine my journey has a different like kind of setting to it, and why I actually started powerlifting. So I'm not going to say unfortunately, because it made me the person I am today, but I do come from a past of severe depression, and that's down to growing up. Those four of us, those four friends, the best friends that anybody could ever have, and we grew up together. And actually, I remember one day I got a phone call off a friend who actually broke the news to me that I'd lost one of my really close friends in a car accident. Wow. And that same day, me and my ex-partner actually found out she was pregnant with my daughter. So to me, that was like a life for a life. I was only young. My life wasn't going the way I expected it to go, especially losing a real close friend. And then I was about to become a young dad, do you know what I mean? And that's ran a little bit different to others. I've ran experiences different. And then actually the day after my daughter was born, my other best friend died in another car accident. So 9 months apart, I'm not even going to call them friends because they weren't friends. They were brothers to me. They were like family. Yeah. And then unfortunately, me and my ex-partner, we didn't work out because that was probably because of my mental state. I was really down. I was upset about the little things, like I didn't get to say goodbye to them. I didn't spend enough time. I didn't show them how much I loved them and those kind of things. Mm-hmm. And I actually ended up leaving that relationship, and I was going out drinking and stuff. I never did any kind of drugs or anything like that. I didn't turn into some kind of crazy depressed junkie or all like that. Yeah. I just started to go out and have fun because I was kind of like putting everything in the back burner. I ended up leaving my job, getting a job behind a bar and working like 1 hour a night. And then I found powerlifting. I entered a strongman competition at Crunch Gym in Meanwood.
Oh yeah.
I entered a strongman competition 4 days before the event, and I went out drinking the night before. So I entered it 4 days before. I went out drinking the night before. I turned up and I was like 97 kilos or something, and strongman. Everybody was like 150 kilos. And the first event was a squat, and then I literally turned up in a pair of skins, and I wore the T-shirt that they gave me. It was actually a strength gains event that it was actually at, and I just know that came back this weekend. And I ended up competing. I ended up beating all these people in the squat. I came third in the squat, squatting 250, and then I nearly died on the 260, and it ended up hitting me on the back of the head, and I was like barely conscious. And I didn't even then. I got up to 240 kilos, and I was like, somebody, can I borrow your belt? And I was like, what do I even do with this? And they were like, just pull it tight, take a big deep breath, and then just squat and hold it until you get back to the top. I was like, all right, that's cool. And then it's I found powerlifting after that, where the guy that owned the gym, unfortunately now he did pass away not so long ago, but the guy that owned the gym, he came up to me. These guys invited me to train with them, and I had this outlook, like these people invited me to train, and like this is what they did, and I wanted to prove to them that I'd outwork anybody there. I'd work harder than everybody because I felt like I had a point to prove to them, and I wanted to show them that I was a good match, and I could keep training with them, and I could keep being part of it. And then the guy came up to me one day in the gym and was like, oh, you should powerlift. I was like, what's powerlifting? He was like, oh, you just did a squat, the bench press, and the deadlift. I was like, I already do all them, so I'll probably be good at this. And then over that 3 years, I remember doing my first comp. I remember winning. I remember turning up, man. I look at everybody. I was like, holy shit, I'm going to get absolutely smoked. And I ended up winning the whole thing. And then it went to divisional level, and then it started to push up. But over the 3 years, it's been hard, man. Trying to stay away from my mental health. Do you know what I mean? Keeping that on par. I'm fortunate that when I actually started powerlifting, I found, unfortunately, again, this isn't going to sound great, my ex-missus, we kind of found each other then, and it was one of those things, she helped me massively. She played a huge, huge role in my my mental health state and my powerlifting. She was real supportive. She was there for me. I trained whenever I wanted, did whatever I wanted, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And over the last 3 years, it's just been like, I remember reading that world record. And when I first read the world record, it was held by a junior. And he held the junior world record and the open world record. And then I remember the next person that took it was, I don't know who took it after. Oh, no, it might have been at 3:31. And then Manuel Steve took it at 3:31.5. Then Garrett took it. And then it got taken by the guy from Peru at 3:35. I remember every time it just kept getting upped over that 3 years. I was like, I need to get my shit together, man. Like, I'm breaking it. And yeah, so my 3 years building up to that, it's been a hard battle, man. It really, really has. Especially like you'll know when things don't go right in the gym, having a past of negative thoughts is like, why am I doing this? Like, it always come back to that, like, because I want that outcome, I want that goal. Like, I've had so many people doubt me across my whole journey of sport, not just powerlifting. Like, when I did mixed martial arts, I got doubted all the time, and that's why I wasn't successful in it, because I let it get to me. When I played rugby, I not in a big-headed way, but I was probably an exceptional rugby player. But unfortunately, when I got to the higher level, the coach that I had, he didn't like me. He didn't, and he just put me down all the time. And I had people going in the same team as me. They're like, "You're good enough to be in the team. You're good enough to take that next step." But he never put me in the team. He never let me play, and it kind of that's what ruined my rugby career. It was just I didn't want to do it anymore. I never thought I was going to make it because I was kind of held back a little bit. But now coming to powerlifting, I'm completely in control of my own outcome. Like, and now I know, especially after squatting the world record, if I want it bad enough, I'm in control of it. I can go get it. Like 3 years ago, man, I remember reading that 3:31. I was thinking, that's the goal, man. That's the goal. I remember in 2017, I really wanted to have a good go at it that year, but things just didn't go right. I was probably expecting way too much that year, and I think I finished the year with like maybe a 320 squat. So I was like a good. I think it was at 335 then. Oh no, it might got up to 335 just after that. But that was at the British, so I was nowhere near it. And I remember thinking, like, I just expected too much of myself. I wanted it a little bit too bad. I wanted it a little bit too early, and I think just waiting that little bit longer was the perfect thing for me. And yeah, that was probably one of the things. Like, that was the main driver for me, man. Knowing that there was going to be an outcome at the end of it if I worked hard, it kept me mentally sane. Like, completely kept me in the frame of mind that I needed to be in.
I think people sometimes forget that. I know sometimes, you know, if I've had a crappy day at work or anything like that, if you go in powerlifting, it's just that time where you're with yourself, with your thoughts. Do you think that working and building towards and getting involved in powerlifting has massively helped with your depression and making you think a little bit clearly and that sort of stuff? Because you do hear that, you know, when people get involved in this sort of stuff, it does, you carry yourself a little bit better, I think, when you're involved in powerlifting or strength training.
Oh, 100%. But then sometimes I think as well with the powerlifting, I don't want this to be a negative on the sport, but sometimes if people haven't come from a past of that, or they've not really struggled mentally with much in the past, they actually do struggle a little bit sometimes when they get into the sport, because I think it is an individual sport. Nobody's going to move that weight for you. It's all on you. And sometimes it is a little bit degrading when things don't go well, but then people need to take a step back and look at all the variables that we could be making that day a little bit different to the one that was, I don't know, maybe 2 days ago and you felt perfect. Yeah. But sometimes it is a little bit mentally draining on people. But with me, when that happened, I was like, come on, man, look where you've come from. Yeah. Like, look at you a year ago, look at you now. You like, this is okay. Like, just put it behind you. We'll move on to the next session. We'll go get it. Like, I've been at the lowest point anyone can ever be at in their life. Like, you know what I mean? I've been there, I've done that, and now in my head, I'm like, if a session doesn't go well, it doesn't go well. I'm not going to lie, sometimes it does really get me down, especially when I get closer to comp, because this starts to tick over a little bit, and I'm like, oh, what's the outcome going to be? Because I put the most amount of pressure on myself, because I'm my biggest critic. And people say, oh, you're harsh on yourself, but in my head, I've got to be that way, but I think that's the best way for me to be. Yeah. And yeah, just sometimes I think people get a little bit mentally drained, but I always say to people, like, if you do have a bad session, just take a little look back, take a look at it and think, just look at why it's happening. Like, look at the variables that are involved for you to be like that. Because I bet you 2 days ago you had a great session. And I bet you in 2 days' time you'll have a better session.
Yeah.
So just because you have one little snippet doesn't mean it's all going to pot. And like people get down about it, like, oh, I don't want to powerlift anymore. Forget about it. Move on. 2 days' time you'll be a better lifter than you were before.
Yeah, one bad session doesn't make you a bad lifter.
If it did, I'd be an awful lifter. I'd be absolutely rubbish. I'd be even worse than I am now. I'd be shocking.
So you mentioned there about you are your biggest critic, and whenever I've heard you speak, or the motivation that you have is proving people wrong. Obviously, you mentioned you have quite a lot of doubters. Is that your biggest motivation? Is that the one that keeps you going?
Yeah, man. You know what? It might sound a bit weird, but I love it when people doubt me. Like, I have a little saying that I don't really say to people much, but in my head all the time, I'm like, if they tell me I can, I promise them I will. Like, I'll show them. Like, I promise them. Like, yeah, I'll put money on it. You tell me I can't squat a world record, I'll squat it. Like, my next goal is to squat 800 pounds. You tell me I can't squat 800 pounds, I'm telling you now, I'll load it. I will load it. I'll work my ass off for it, and I'll make it happen. Why? Because they said I couldn't. And I think that does stem from my past. Like, that rugby coach that I had, I never ever mention his name because he probably, if me and him met now, we'd probably get on really, really well. He never believed in me. He never gave me an opportunity. And I'm like, I create the opportunities for myself. Mm-hmm. Nobody's controlling my outcome. So I've got this. Like, if I want it bad enough, I can go get it. Yeah. Like, and if they say I can, I will. Like, and it really drives me, man. It really puts everything. Like, I loved it before the juniors. I remember people saying that I wouldn't total 800. Like, total 800 on an easy day. I nearly died in the sauna that morning, and I turned up on a total 800. But the only outcome for me was, like, it had to go. 800 had to go that day. And my 300 kilo deadlift to make it was easy that day. And I don't even know what happened. Like, the first time I ever tried to deadlift 300, and it actually moved.
Yeah.
Which was really, really weird. But yeah, that's a real big driver for me, man. Like, people tell me I can't, I promise them I will. Promise them.
Nice. I think that's a good mentality to have, because especially when you're saying, if people are saying that, it is easy to be thinking, you know what? Yeah, actually, I won't do it. And from as a coach yourself, when people are coming in and, oh yeah, I've been told I can't do this, I'm not very good at this, and when they actually end up doing it, the motivation is massive, confidence is massive, and how they carry themselves is a lot better.
Yeah, and you see how people change when they actually do stuff that somebody that's told them that they can't. They actually change completely. Like, even if it's just one-to-one PT clients. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, we're going to do this. And I'm like, oh, I can't. I'm like, no, you can. Let's just get it together. Let's go do it. Let's try it. If it doesn't work out, we'll have another go. If it doesn't work out, we'll have another go. And then if you completely can't do it and you're putting yourself at danger, we'll move away. We'll pick a different variation. And then when they start to do it because they've told themselves they can, they're so happy. They're like, oh, I can do it. Yeah. And do you know what I mean? Like, it's the tiny, tiny things. Like, one of my clients at the moment, we're doing 10 minutes on the stepper at the start, and we just progressively get faster. All she'll do from like 4 minutes in, I can't do it. She'll get to 7 minutes. I can't keep going. I'm going to stop. Once 10 minutes is done, you won't see the smile on her face. Absolutely. Yeah. And she's only done 10 minutes on the stepper. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely mad.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. I think that's, seeing people, like you say, building that confidence, I think is really, really good.
But I don't, just for, that's not in like a cocky way either. That's just like, do you know what I mean? I'm not saying it to be arrogant or be like, oh, and you know, I'm the best at this, I'm the best at that, I'm really good at this. It's like, nah, you doubt me, I have to do it then, do you know what I mean? It's not that I can because I'm better than anybody else. It's, I want to because I just want to prove you wrong a little bit.
Yeah. And, at the end of the day, you put the work in to do it. So, chatting about, obviously, you mentioned there that your next goal is to squat 800 pounds. 3-year goal to squat the world record. Was the emphasis mainly on building that squat in your training over those 3 years, or how did the other lifts come into it? What was your training? What was involved in your training?
So the next goal is to squat 800 pounds in the 105s. The ultimate goal, I'm gonna throw it out there because I know if I throw it out there now, people tell me I can't. The ultimate goal at 105 is to try and squat 400. Like that is, like I know that's like to me now. That's even in my head, that is absolutely insane. Yeah. But you got to think. I remember when I first squatted 300 and I was looking at 335, thinking that seems crazy.
Yeah.
And when I squat 800 pounds, that's not far away. The difference between 300 and 335 and 800 pounds and 400 isn't that different. So that's like the ultimate goal. But then, like, yeah, the thing is, when I first started training, mate, I hated squats. Absolutely hated them. I wasn't even that good at them. Like, I remember when, like, I seen a video. If anybody's got time, you can go back down my Instagram. And I used to be an even worse powerlifter than I am now. And I watched a video on there the other day, and I was like, I was doubling like 232 on the squat, like absolutely screaming, like in between the 2 reps, you're going crazy. And I used to hate them. Like I always perceived myself as a good deadlifter because I had a pretty good deadlift at the start. I remember at one point in my powerlifting career, I perceived myself to be a good bencher because I started and I could bench something quite heavy. If you look at my bench progression over the last 3 years, you would never get bench coaching from me. You'd be like, I think at my first comp, I benched like 157 or 160, and my biggest comp bench is 180. So it's like, not doing that much. Yeah, but when I first started, I didn't even think, I didn't think I was a good squatter. It took time. Like, people always go, you're naturally built to squat. Like, nah, I took time out, man, from like going heavy, like to getting my bar path bang on point and making sure I'm moving like with my biomechanics and making sure everything was correct for me. But like the training over those years, like until I got Mark as a coach, mate, I had a little bit of structure, but I'd say the first 2, maybe a year and a half was literally turn up. Today I'll do a single. Today I'll do a double. Then I'll back off and I'll do some other rubbish. Then I'll do loads of bodybuilding work and I'll do more work than everybody else because I want to be stronger than everybody else. I want to outwork everybody else, kind of thing. And I'd be there for hours and hours at a time. But yeah, back then I never perceived myself to be a great squatter. The goal was down there because I thought it was probably the most realistic. Because I remember looking at the deadlift world record and it was just insane. And the bench world record I would have never got near. Yeah, the deadlift world record was, I don't even know, it was maybe like 370 or something. I was like, that's just ridiculous. We'll go for the squat world record instead. But yeah, my training, it was never just directly towards the squat. I wasn't just out there trying to build a huge squat. I was out there like I'm always about all 3. Like I don't just want to be a big squatter. Like in my head now, I'm thinking I need to be more than a squat.
Yeah.
Like I got to be more than a squat. If I want to achieve what I want to achieve, I've got to be more than that. I can't just be a world record squat for the rest of my lifting career. Because if you're winning medals at Worlds and your ultimate goal is not to be the world champion one day, like why are you even turning up, kind of thing. And that is the ultimate goal. I know it is for everybody out there on the platform. And I'd love to be world champion one day. And I know if I work hard enough, I can achieve that. Like I have the right mindset, I have the right mind frame. But I know in my head that I can't just be a big squat for that. Like I'd have to squat something ridiculous to win with my crappy bench and average deadlift. Yeah, so it wasn't just all about the squat from the start. I've always been all about building all 3.
Yeah. So how's the training now? Obviously, you've mentioned there that the ultimate goal is to become world champion one day. Obviously, world record squats in the bag. Is the goal to build up the bench and the deadlift, or what's the process now?
So we're gonna carry on doing what we're doing. We're gonna carry on building all 3. So I have a few goals in mind for next year, which will put me in real good stead of like kind of setting my mark in the 105s. I know people said this year that I kind of built a little bit of a name for myself on the world stage because I was having fun and I outscored Garrett and I took the gold medal home and stuff. But next year I really want to kind of cement and be like, wow, like it's his second year in the Open. Like he's bringing a package this time. So yeah, it's at the moment we're currently running a hypertrophy block. It's all free. You may have seen as well. I have actually just had a little switch up to sumo, trying to bring down that range of motion. This is initially because I actually read something about sumo being quad dominant movement, and I know this in my head too. And then I looked at myself. I was like, Josh, your only good asset is your quads. Like you don't have anything else going for you. Like if a woman doesn't like legs, she's never going to be with me. You know what I mean? And I was like, you know what? Have a little change. I'm technically quite good. Like I can watch something and just kind of do it. Mm-hmm. So I thought, you know what? Let's give it a little bit of time, and it is feeling really, really good. So yeah, we're still going at all three of them. We're not leaving the squat behind because you got to think the bigger the squat gets, the less I have to put on the deadlift and bench.
So, yeah, good point. So obviously, mentioned there about your training in between it. Obviously, still building all three, going through a little bit of a hypertrophy block. From getting the 800 total at the British, and then it was about 6 weeks later at the Arnold, wasn't it?
So British was, so I totaled 820 at the British.
Yeah.
Which was I think it was the 1st and 2nd of September or something?
Yeah, it was. I think it was like the first weekend in September.
Yeah, so it was the first weekend of September, and the Arnold's was the last weekend of September, and I totaled 821. 1 kilo more, but I was like 6.6 kilos lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, because technically I weighed in at the British at 111.6.
Yeah. So that extra kilo counts though on the total, still an extra total. So how do you manage yourselves between competitions? Obviously, you were saying that people were doubting that you were going to get over an 800 kilo total. How have you managed yourself between competitions? Because to then squat, because what did you squat at the British?
So at the British, when people doubted me about the 800, that was the juniors last year. So this year at the British seniors, unfortunately, obviously missed weight and stuff like that. But I squatted 337.5 at the British seniors. I benched 177, but I only deadlifted 305. Yeah. And then 4 weeks later at the Arnold's, I went 336. 177 way easier than 177 at the British. Yeah. And I went 307.5 for a 2.5 kilo PB on the deadlift. And how do we manage that between that? I'm not going to lie. The week leading up to the Arnold's, I didn't think I was going to squat that world record. Okay. I doubted myself just because of the way things had been feeling. So like we run a lot of RP in my peak. I wanted to push towards squatting around 330 again, like I did leading up to the British. My biggest squat leading up to Arnold's was 320, and it was like 9.5. Like,
right.
You watch it, you put like I don't even think I posted it because I was that disappointed with it. Like, I didn't think the Instagram fans would want to see me absolutely grinding out 320. But like the week before that, coming out of the British, squatted 305 at like 9.5. Nothing was going right technically. I felt fatigued. I felt really drained. Mark, he did his thing, man. Guy's an unbelievable guidance. Like, I don't know how he does it. Like, and then we moved into my taper week, mate. I went down to Mammoth Power Gym, and I remember this like it was yesterday. I had my last warm up on because I did my openers on the Monday and they didn't feel that great. I went down to Mammoth Power Gym because we were traveling out there together, my sponsor and me. And I had my last warm up there. I was just training by myself, just had my headphones on. 287.5 for my last warm up. And I remember, mate, it's never ever moved like that before. Never ever moved. It was so fast. genuinely didn't feel like it was on my back. And I straight away, mate, re-wrapped it, had like a little hype moment with the guys in the gym. And then I text Mark, I was like, mate, it's never moved like this. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, just watch this. And I couldn't believe it. Like, it was like nothing on the bar. But the weeks leading up to it, mate, I was shocking, man. I was beat up. Week before that, had like a complete breakdown in the gym. Literally, honesty time, I was sat in the corner of Grass House gym, mate, crying my eyes out, like 2 weeks before the Arnold. Because, mate, I was beat up. I do have a video on my phone of it. I ended up getting buried by 282.5 kilos. After a triple, I walked it out of a normal rack, which obviously I squatted my hands wide. And as I walked it out, it like dropped down my back. I squatted it for a triple, and then I tried to like nudge the bar up my back. And I threw it too far, and it landed like on top of my traps and just absolutely buried me. Like nearly knocked me unconscious. And that was, yeah, man. I have the video on my phone. Pretty horrific. Yeah, and it like, mate, and I had like a breakdown in the gym that day. And like my friend and my friends in the gym, they were just like, they were the people that coming out there with me. They're like, you'll be okay. You just got to get past this. Da, da, da. And mate, I was sat in the corner of the gym crying my eyes out. And I just didn't think I was going to do it. I was like, I'd give it so much. And I've ruined it. I've absolutely ruined it. And then the week leading up was obviously a thing about making weight. I was scared that I weren't going to make weight because of what happened last time. But I was lucky that I had Jason Colton on my side this time. And he helped me out massively, reassured me all the time. And we made weight easier than we ever have, man. Like, easier than ever. But yeah, Mark did his thing between. I don't even know what he did, mate. I was feeling like
that Scottish voodoo.
Man, I don't know how he does it. And then the next thing, man, I'm peaked for the Arnold's, mate, and everything's moving. Everything's moving. You could have put 330 on that bar that day, and I would 340 on that bar that day. I would have probably squatted it. And as well, I had to change my grip on the day. Couldn't have my pinky under the bar for some weird reason. They finally caught me. And I had to re-rack 325, pop that out, and then I had like 10 seconds to get the squat command. And that kind of threw me off a little bit. I actually came out of 325 and I was like, shit, is it to be there? And I was like, you know what? I'm not turned up for anything less than a new world record. So we just threw it in anyway.
What was the ruling on the little finger? What is the ruling on that?
I don't know, man. It's something like to do with fingers got to be in contact with a bar or something like that. And technically my fingers are in contact with the bar. I literally, all I do, I just take my little finger off the bar, so the bar sits across here and my finger is there. It's really, really secure. It's no different to anything else, like any other grip. And it just releases the elbow tendonitis that I get when I take a full grip on the bar. And I don't know, he let me do all my jibber jabber though before, my little process that I do, walking up and down and that. Then I walked out and it was like re-rack. And I was like, I didn't even know what was happening. Yeah. I was like, did I hear him right? And then I went back in and like they dragged me back in. And then all I heard was pinky on the bar. And I was like, I just literally like popped out, put my finger on and then put my head back under. And I was like, I need to get it out. Because when I stood it up and walked out the first time, I heard Pete Stone shout 19 seconds. So obviously I got it out, re-racked it, and then I'm thinking, wow, I don't have a lot of time to get this out. Yeah. And I can't be not taking a second lift because I would have probably had to boost in the back, load 325, squat in the warm-up room, and then go take a new world record. You're pretty soon after. Yeah. So it's something to do like fingers on the bar or something, or all fingers in contact, but my little finger's off the bar, but you're allowed to squat with your thumb off the bar. So, did I get done over a little bit? Who knows? Let's not say anything like that. You might get told off by that. Yeah.
swings and roundabouts, but at the end of the day, you got that world record squat. So it doesn't matter. Just another challenge. Obviously, you mentioned you were feeling a little bit beat up between competitions. Is there anything? What did you do outside of the gym? How did you sort of look after yourself and manage your body between competitions? Because obviously lifting that amount of weight between competitions to the Arnold, did you do anything differently, or did you follow the same routine of stuff outside of the gym?
I actually, between the Arnold, so leading up to the British, I didn't have any massage or anything like that. I didn't have any kind of therapy. And then leading up to the Arnold's, I actually did. I saw a sports masseuse. She gave me a real good scene to a few times and really kind of like got out the little knots and niggles. Something that I changed between the British and Arnold's was my sleeping. I made sleeping like a real priority. Unfortunately, at the moment, I don't have a great place to stay at the moment. I'm just renting a room in some guy's house, and he put the bed and the mattress in there, and it is pretty crap. And the only place I get comfortable in that bed is laid on my back. But then when I lay on my back, I have mild sleep apnea when I'm laid on my back, and I stop breathing, and then that wakes me up, and then I've got to roll on my side. But then because the springs like dig into me and stuff, I hadn't been getting a great night's sleep, so I went and bought like a mattress topper and stuff like that, try and make it a little bit more comfortable. And my sleeping pattern did change. I was getting like a good solid 8 hours in. And then just something I tried to do at the Arnold's was eat more frequently. Just try and get more fuel in every so often instead of I'll eat now and then I'll try and eat later on or whatever, Joe, because I was cutting and stuff. I just thought, you know, I'm going to eat more frequently. I'll keep my calories up a little bit. I'll eat more frequently, and it all paid off. Like, I think the food pattern changed, the sleep pattern changed, and adding in the therapy sessions was massive for me.
Yeah.
It really, really was. It played a real big part in my recovery. Like I was beat up, but I was still feeling like, I think I was more mentally beat up than I was physically.
Right. Okay. So how did you manage that then? Because why I like to ask about what goes on outside of the gym is because, you know, out of all the guests that I've spoken to, like when you were on the last episode, it's everything that, and you mentioned in this one, everything that you do outside of the gym that makes that session a good session and makes you build further. Is there anything that you did outside of the gym to help clear your mind and just sort of, you know, maybe not think about the trying to swap the world record?
I wish I could say no, but that time between the British and the Arnolds was very, this is all about me now. Nobody else. I was a little bit selfish maybe. I didn't go out with my friends. I didn't go enjoy myself. I think I went out for a couple of bits of food, maybe a couple of times. I went for, you can go to Five Guys and get a lettuce burger. So instead of a Bunlegi lettuce, I went to Five Guys maybe twice with a couple of my best friends. But it was literally for like an hour's time. And then I was back home, just kind of doing my thing, getting my stuff ready for the next day, make sure I didn't have to rush the next day and like stress and try and I was just make sure I was prepared and stuff. That was probably the little things that made my time a little bit easier. But yeah, I avoided pretty much most contact with humans between those two competitions. Even like when I went to the shed, like I train at the shed when I can. And that was probably, I probably should apologize. I was probably a little bit different towards the guys when I was there because I don't know, I kind of was in a different frame of my mind. I'd obviously just missed weight at the British. I was scared it was going to happen again. And yeah, I don't know. I probably wasn't my old jolly happy self. But that was just because I was concentrating on me. I was trying to get things mentally ready in my head.
Yeah.
Because I give it the big one and I didn't want to miss. I didn't want to miss it. And one thing, I didn't want to miss weight again. Like I had a rule: we never miss unless something goes wrong and you're unconscious for a period of time. Then you can miss that.
How does it feel? Obviously, at the start of the episode, absolutely chuffed. Do you feel as though a weight's been lifted off your shoulders a little bit now? So obviously, you've seen you compete at the World. You enjoyed every minute of it. Obviously, you mentioned there about, you know, you concentrate on yourself leading up to the world record. Do you feel like a weight's been lifted off your shoulders now? Do you think, you know, that it's giving you that confidence to be like, right, 2019, let's go and smash it again?
Yeah, you know what? I feel real positive about it. I feel like as well, like it's given me a new lease of life in powerlifting. Like I have more options available to me now. I don't know what's happening, or I have a few competitions in mind for next year that currently are in the process, and I'm working on trying to get myself involved with. But yeah, I definitely do feel relieved. That's what I'm like, for so long, that was the goal, and it's done. And I remember getting it over and done with, and I was like, I remember that week leading up to it. I was like, I can't wait to get this done and go do some bodybuilding for a bit. I'm going to go mess about with some dumbbells and, just enjoy myself and take the seriousness out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
And especially the dieting. Like, I've been dieting for I think it's 317 days or something, pretty much continuously from one comp to the other, to the other, to the other. And I was just excited for a little bit of an off season. But yeah, I definitely feel like a weight's been lifted off my shoulders.
Oh, good. So obviously, this year, absolute awesome year. What can we expect from Josh Greenfield next year? What else is on the card? We said he got a couple of competitions lined up, but man of your word, in the last episode, got the world record. What can we expect to see next year?
Yeah, man. So 2019, I've got some real good plans for 2019. First thing, potentially in January, I could be going out to Iceland to the what's it called? The Reykjavik Games.
Okay.
Potentially that's I'm not going to say anything certain yet. That's potentially in the loop. And are you ready for this? Maybe in March, maybe I may have an opportunity to go out to the Arnold's, Ohio, and go lift out there. But that's just a maybe. Yeah, that's just a maybe. That's very, very new in the process. Mm-hmm. But that is, to me, if I can get on that for 2019, I'm going to go over there, man. I'm going to have some fun. The situation with Worlds, I don't actually know what's happening with Worlds next year yet. Because me missing weight at the British, and then obviously that takes me out of the Worlds team. But then I don't know if you've seen the Europeans team. There's a few very controversial situations in there. I'm not going to mention any names or anything, but people have been selected who didn't even turn up to the British and lift. I nearly died in a sauna. I still went out the next day and put on the show, and I haven't been put as a reserve. And there's people in that European team this year that didn't even turn up to the actual event, not even show their support, and they've been put in the team. But I'm not saying anything against them. Maybe a little bit about the process, and I wasn't told part of the process. But yeah, so I don't know about Worlds yet. So Worlds is a maybe. I'd love to go again. I think they mentioned something about I had to perform at the Arnold's and I had to perform at the All Englands. But I don't know if you've seen the dates for the All Englands. That's the week before the World Championship. So if they're looking at it like that, that means I'd have to perform at the England's and then try to go out and perform at the Worlds.
Yeah.
And then after that, man, there's Arnold Classic Europe, which could be an option. Even if I just got on both Arnold's in a year. Now, that'd be exciting. There's a Commonwealth next year, which would be a great opportunity. But actually, I think Rondell is going to the Commonwealth. Me and him speak on Instagram. He's going out to the Commonwealth, and he's going as an open. So, depending on what my numbers are like, that guy's an absolute freak. So maybe not the big ones about winning the Commonwealth and going out and then getting absolutely smoked by Rondell wouldn't be exciting. And then I'm going to throw this out there. There is the British Championship Seniors. You may have seen it the weekend. I'm going to call him out right now because this is what this game needs. There's a guy called Sam Watt. We actually work at the same gym. This week at the Masters in the 105s M1 because he's old. I don't even think he'll make it in 2019. He's that old. He genuinely could be my dad. He totaled 823, so 2 kilos more than me this weekend. We work in the same gym. We live in the same city. And he thinks he's going to beat me next year. And I promise you now, I ain't getting beat by no old man. So hopefully next year, the British, me and Sam, I'm going to take on the old man. And I'm going to show him what the younger generation's all about. And after the squat, he's going to think, why the hell did I agree to this? Because it's going to be all over from there, man. But yeah,
I did see a little bit of that, and I was wondering whether you were going to mention it. So yeah, that'll be a battle to see.
And even back to, I even tagged him in my Instagram story the other day, and he didn't even reply because he knew I was right. Yeah, he'll be at people's home, and somebody give him some food. Yeah,
that'll be
looking exciting, man.
Good. As always, I enjoyed the first time I chatted with you. Like I say, I've seen you being trained down at Graft House. Absolutely well done on your squat. It was great to see a British lifter, going out there and challenging as well. I think at the minute, especially in the Yorkshire North East division, there's a load of great lifters going out there and basically showing what Yorkshire, what GB.
Yeah, man, that's it.
So thanks for taking the time to chat with me again.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Anyone, I know obviously from the last episode, a few new people might be watching. If anyone's got any questions, wants to get involved in coaching with you, or bob down to Graft House and get some sessions, people find you and get in contact with you.
You can either add me on Facebook, which is just my name, or you can go Instagram. You may or may not follow me already. You can go over there, Josh per lifter. If you type in Josh and then underscore, I think I come up straight away. And then if you're looking for any coaching, you can drop me an email on jlg@strengthcoaching.co.uk, and I get back to you within 24 hours if that's something that you're looking for. And even if you just want to come train down at Graft House, drop me a message, turn up. I spend way too much time here. I am here now, and I'm here till 9 o'clock at night tonight. Even if you just want to come down and train, and I know being a great lifting environment, just either pop down, let me know. If you want to come train with me, drop me a message. You can come train with me.
Absolutely awesome. So thanks very much again.
Thank you.
Thanks to everyone who's listening. I enjoyed that. I always enjoy chatting to you. I'm looking forward to seeing what you can do next year. To everyone listening, I will see you all next week.
Cheers, Steve. Thank you very much, mate.